So, guys.
Welcome back to Out of My Head on YouTube, where KMO has asked me to stop calling myself the best part of this show, or he is going to sue me for slander. I hate to tell you this, but it's not slander if it's true.
In the United States, it's not slander if it's true.
I don't care about the rest of the world.
Okay.
Alright, so we got 2 topics for today.
First, feedback.
Feedback. I
I
appreciate this part because I'm not going to come up with ideas, so leave comments for me to respond to. First one was from Salem Fortes, I think. Salem, something like that. I don't speak that language, I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Collin, if you like Trump but you're a libertarian, you must be against the wall, right? You believe in open borders for the free movement of labor. Luckily, I've had a week to think about this one. It's a very important part. No, I'm not for open borders for the free movement of labor in this world we live in here with the way we have things set up.
So you're a lino.
Libertarian in name only?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could, probably basically, I'm a libertarian in the sense of leave me alone, which, as far as most American politicians are concerned, is an extremist viewpoint. But as far as libertarians are concerned, I'm probably more conservative to them than I am libertarian. But it's just to do with the fact of the way I like this idea of free movement of labor, but the way we have the system set up now, it's not going to work out. You can't just open the border. I mean, most places don't even check ID to vote, so...
There are even doctrinaire libertarians who say open borders should be the last libertarian policy that we implement in the transformation of the United States to a more freedom-respecting style of government.
Oh, if we change the society to be a place where it would work without all these requirements, yes, I would. Why not?
Specifically, if you dismantle the welfare state first and then open the borders, the only people who will come here would be the ones who want to work or criminals, who want to take advantage of the prosperity that's here.
Yes.
The wall is not going to stop criminals, particularly organized criminals.
But it will stop poor people.
Some.
That was a joke.
Other feedback. Well, is that one covered?
That was basically covered.
Okay.
You got my opinion. As of right now, no, but I'm not opposed to it. And yeah, I'm a lino. The same dude also said, I like colonies going places. I like you too. And I'm not going anywhere.
You might.
I'm too lazy for that. My final one I'm really interested in was Jason Rizos said there is no moral or intellectual basis for supporting Donald Trump. This is provocation alone. And I was thinking of good ways to reply to it, but then someone else named North Fork Crafts, that's the name, replied for me and basically summed up my thoughts. I certainly can't speak for Collin, who absolutely needs an adventure show, but I will point out that I didn't hear him say he supported Trump, but that he favored Trump over any of the Democrats or the independent socialist turned Democrat Bernie that KMO mentioned. And yeah, that's basically it.
No, let me see that. Let me give it the proper reading.
I can't read.
I can't see. So North Fork Crafts wrote, I certainly can't speak for Collin, 1L Collin, who absolutely needs an adventure show, but I will point out that I didn't hear him say he supported Trump, but that he favored Trump over any of the Democrats or the independent socialist turned Democrat Bernie that KMO mentioned. I call foul on the provocation charge on this point alone. There's more, but okay. Whether there is a moral or intellectual basis or not for supporting Trump could be questioned as well, but don't quote me on that.
My favorite line.
Callback humor.
My favorite thing to do, actually. Okay. So that guy pretty much summed up my feelings on that.
All right.
I don't like Trump. I like him more than a lot of people, though. That's it.
Moving on to propaganda. You have thoughts?
I'm very interested in propaganda, especially how you can use it in modern day society due to the advancement of the internet and communications all over. It's a lot easier now. And more than just like how to get elected using it, but more of the, it's not like the, oh, I'm a Marxist, I'm going to become the greatest powerful person ever, blah, blah, blah. How to change communities as a whole and indoctrinate them into certain ways of thinking. current events.
What are you thinking of in particular?
Well, my favorite one that the media itself is using a lot right now is the say the same thing repeatedly until people believe it's true.
Yeah, that's a cornerstone of propaganda right there.
Gaslighting.
Repetition.
It's gotten to the point where they've repeated it so much that even I'm starting to fall for it. Because other people, so you see other people start to fall for it, and you're like, "You dude, you're falling," and then they just repeat it to the point where, you start off on certain issues like, okay, this is a possibility. Can you show me any sort of physical evidence of this before I just assume it's true because you said so?
Well, what are you thinking of in particular here? What piece?
Russia
of
investigation.
Ah.
I may have missed the evidence, but they haven't shown me any yet.
You haven't missed the evidence. If there were any, it would be on display 24/7 all over the place.
Well, I mean, they've just said, I'm not even talking about collusion or Trump at this point, just Russia in general. They interfered with the election. It's like, I still haven't even seen evidence of that. I saw one thing a while ago. It's like, oh, the computer that hacked whatever DNC server jumped us email was in Russian. Yes. Do you know how easy it is to change your language on your computer and your IP address to make it not easy to find you? It's like, that's not enough evidence for me. John McAfee said the same thing, so I'm not just me being stupid. I've seen plenty of computer experts say the same thing. There's a lot of places, like, it could have been the United States that did it. Could have been the CIA with all the evidence I've seen.
Right.
But we've repeated it to the point where everyone just accepted it's true. Smart people accept it's true. I mean, it's probably true, right? Or am I falling for it?
The U.S. has messed in Russian elections. Why wouldn't they turn around and do the same?
They also really don't care.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, no, I'm pretty
convinced. Did they hack voting machines? No, don't care. Yeah,
no.
boom.
I mean, what they did, as far as I can tell, was really insignificant.
Yeah.
I mean, they bought Facebook ads. They used Facebook to, sway public opinion the way so many other parties do, but on a very small scale.
So, like,
I mean,
we're already good enough at that ourselves here in America. We make our own fake news articles. We don't need you, Macedonia.
So I've got a quote that I like about propaganda, which we were going to have up on screen, but it's not up on the big screen. Can we get it on the little screen? Jump cut. One of my favorite quotes on the topic of propaganda. No one understood better than Stalin that the true object of propaganda is neither to convince nor even to persuade, but to produce a uniform pattern of public utterance in which the first trace of unorthodox thought immediately reveals itself as a jarring dissonance. Fancy language there. What does that mean to you?
I was going to complain about being in fancy language.
Yeah.
Because I speak simplified English. No, it means anyone who's questioning what they're told, they want to look to the overall community like they're insane.
Not necessarily insane, because a lot of people
Not
in the
connected.
community will think the same way, but they're staying in the no-hassle zone, using the approved phrases, the approved language. If you just start talking as if you haven't even been paying attention to the public discourse, just saying what you think, that's going to sound really weird, and people are going to jump on you for it.
It happens all the time right now.
It certainly does. It's why I really like that quote. Although I've liked that quote for a very long time, since long before the rise of social media.
Which, I was thinking a bit about this last night, and again when I saw this quote. If you're getting overly emotional because someone says something that you believe is incorrect or an opinion you don't like, you may have fallen for some propaganda. That's what they do.
We got a laugh from the control booth there.
That's what they do. Yes, I do it too. That's why he was laughing at me. I am going to admit I do it. If someone says, okay, well, this guy's red.
Mm-hmm.
He's not upset, is he? I mean, he thinks I'm pretty stupid, which is fair, but he's not going to get mad and want me to shut up, try to silence me, attack me physically, because it's just not true. So then if I say, build a wall because illegal immigrants are coming in and murdering all our people, it's not true. It's really not an issue, right? Or less of an issue than it's an overstatement. But if you're getting super upset about that, maybe you're falling for the reverse sides. You know what I'm saying? Can you put in better words than I can?
Well, people tend to identify with their belief system, and if you contradict their belief system, physiologically they're prone to take it as a physical attack on themselves, and they get defensive. Their adrenaline starts pumping. They're ready to fight or flee, and they're just sitting there with their phone in their hand or at their keyboard. And fighting or fleeing means typing a really aggravated message at you. I interviewed a guy. I don't know if I interviewed him. We had a conversation, and he identifies with antinatalism, and I'm less and less impressed with that group of people. And there are two thought experiments that antinatalists like to make. There's the red button and the green button. So the red button is, you've got this red button in front of you, you can push it. If you push it, all life on Earth will be extinguished in an instant. Nobody will feel any pain. There'll be no anticipation of the end. There'll be no fear, and there'll be no suffering down the line because there'll be no life. I mean, you just extinguish all life in an instant, painlessly, and permanently end suffering on planet Earth. Would you push the button? I wouldn't.
I would not.
Most people wouldn't. But antinatalists say it's the only moral thing to do. Then there's the green button. The green button is, if you push the green button, then someplace else where there is no life, suddenly life will start up, and it's going to grow into intelligent life. There'll be civilizations, they'll fight wars, they'll have slaves, they'll do all the nasty things that we have done, which create suffering. Would you push the green button? And the person I was talking to put this question to me, and I thought, yeah, I'd push it. Later on, I reconsidered, and I thought, no, I probably wouldn't push it. But in the same video even.
Yeah.
But I got angry pushback from antinatalists about that. But here's the thing. What is it that antinatalists want? I mean, they say they want people to have fewer children. I've had a vasectomy. I'm not making any more babies. There is nothing more antinatalist I can do. I mean, in terms of my actions, I should be an antinatalist hero. But because I responded differently than they would in a thought experiment, in a conversation, I get emails from them about how they're uncomfortable with, my cavalier attitude. It's like, do you care about what I do, or do you want me to agree with you? If you want me to agree with you, if you want me to validate your thought process, where's the morality in that? How does that alleviate suffering? I mean, this is absurd. Do you want people to believe what you believe, or do you want them to behave the way you want them to behave? You would think the latter, and if it is the latter, well, I'm there. I mean, I'm in the winner's circle. I'm the antinatalist supreme.
No, you see, you're conflicting people. The people don't want what they want they want to be right.
Yeah.
I want everyone to agree with me.
They don't want what they say they want.
They just want to be right. They want people to agree with them.
A friend of mine from way back, he liked to say that there are three kinds of wants. There's what people want, what they say they want, and what they think they want. And usually those are three different things. So I imagine that if you put the question to the antinatalists, a lot of them would say, yeah, I really want people to have fewer children, or no children, preferably, so that there are not new centers of suffering coming into the world. But, that's, if you're talking to me about that issue, in terms of behavior, I'm on your side. Not only am I on your side, I have had my body surgically mutilated so that I cannot change my mind on the topic. There's nothing more to be said if what you're interested in is the actual outcome, the actual behavior. But if you want me to agree with you, well, then, what you say you want is definitely not what you actually want.
And then on the antinatalist topic, there's also what you need, which in most cases for antinatalists is some Prozac.
Or some therapy or something. Yeah.
They're going to love me now.
Yeah. Oh, no, you wait till the antinatalist hate starts rolling in your direction.
Make sure you title this something about antinatalism so I can get them all.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yes, please. Tell him why he's wrong, but don't cut and paste from something that you've written elsewhere. Even mentally. Don't use the same arguments and phrases. Think about it.
Respond to me specifically and what I have said.
Yes.
Keep in mind I don't like life or people.
Yeah, I mean, natural-born antinatalist right over here.
And I think you're stupid.
All right.
Suffering.
Anything else, or shall we wrap it up?
Oh, I had one more thought on propaganda. I forgot it, so.
Well, think about it for a minute. We can jump cut out if we need to.
Anyways, if you control propaganda, you can control an entire community down to their thoughts and actions. You influence them to act certain ways. The anti-vax movement was one fake study, and then some person repeated it a lot. Then more people were like, hey, maybe we should listen to this. And then those people got attacked. And when you attack someone for being wrong, that really just makes them double down. If I say the moon isn't real, and KMO just looks at me like I'm stupid because I'm stupid, no one's going to listen to me. If he tries to shut me up, I could be like, oh, they're trying to stop me. It's a conspiracy, and it makes them double down. It makes other people interested in this. Why is this person why are they trying to shut down this person? You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
And so then that turned into more people not vaccinating their kids because some people were anti-vaccine and started speaking and influencing people in little ways. Now imagine if you were doing that on purpose instead of just being stupid. What could we accomplish?
I mentioned this somewhere recently, I forget where, but my first child was born in November of 2000. And at the time, I was amenable to paranoid conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. And I was amenable to the idea that, vaccinations were a deliberate attempt to harm the population. But when it came time for my kid to get vaccinated, I took him to the doctor and he got vaccinated. I had enough good sense compartmentalized somewhere in my skull that when genuine, societal health and hygiene bumps up against the conspiracy theory gives way.
Yeah. See, it's good to question things and not just do what you're told, but you also got to not be stupid and try to find the truth.
But I do want to contradict you on one thing and go back to the Leonard Shapiro quote. Propaganda generally doesn't aim to control people's thinking. It aims to control what they say publicly. So in Florida, at high tide in Miami, say, high tide if it rains, the water in the street's up to your ankles. And yet Florida, I don't know if it was a law or just a dictate that the state passed, but state employees are not